The agony, the myth, and a reminder to never, ever anger the Greek gods. Welcome back to Armchair Italy. Today, we are stepping right into the crossfire where ancient myth, tragic literature, Renaissance genius, and modern pop culture completely collide. We're talking about Laocoon, the man who almost saved Troy, and the mind-blowing ancient marble statue in the Vatican museums that fundamentally rewired how Michelangelo saw art forever. I'm your host, Anthony Capizzoli, and here on Armchair Italy, we go far beyond the surface of what you may see in a museum. We're taking a deep dive into the art, the drama, and the history that makes the rest of the world wish they were in Italy. Let's set the scene. Picture the beaches of Troy. After 10 long years of siege, the Greek army seems to have given up. They sail away, leaving behind a giant wooden horse. The Trojans celebrate, debating whether to drag this massive structure inside their walls as a victory trophy. Enter Trojan priest of Poseidon. He sees right through the trick. He shouts his famous warning, immortalized by the Roman poet Virgil, Timeo Danaos et dona ferentes. I fear the Greeks even when bringing gifts. To prove his point, Laocoon hurls a spear right into the wooden flank of the horse. It strikes with a hollow thud. He almost saves the city, but the pro-Greek gods, Athena and Poseidon, are determined that Troy must burn. Out of the ocean, two gargantuan sea serpents emerge, named Porsus and Caraboea. Caraboea. I never get it right. The monsters slither onto the beach. They coil around Laocoon's two young sons, Antiphates and Thymbraeus. Laocoon rushes in with his sword to save his children, but the beasts wrap around all three, crushing and poisoning them in front of the horrified Trojans. The Trojans totally misread the sight. They assume the gods struck Laocoon down for defiling the wooden horse. So they tear down part of their own city walls, drag the horse inside, and the rest is history. Now, depending on who tells this story, the moral is completely different. If you ask the ancient Greek playwright Sophocles, Laocoon wasn't killed for trying to save Troy. In early Greek tradition, he was being punished for a personal sin against Apollo, breaking a vow of celibacy. In Sophocles' lost play, the serpents only kill the sons, leaving Laocoon alive to grieve his own impiety. It was the Roman poet Virgil, in the Aeneid, who rewrote the tale. Virgil strips away Laocoon's personal sins, turning him into a noble, innocent patriot. The gods silence him solely to keep the Trojan horse plot alive. Why the change? Because Virgil was crafting a national epic for Rome, giving Romans who claimed descent from Trojan survivors a heroic, tragic origin story rather than a tale of a sinful priest. Fast forward 1,500 years to January 14th, 1506. A vineyard owner on Rome's Esquiline Hill strikes marble while digging. Pope Julius II sends his favorite architect, Giuliano da Sangallo, to check it out. Tagging along is a young, reluctant painter who considers himself purely a sculptor, Michelangelo. What are the odds? They climb down into the hole. Sangallo takes one look and exclaims, "That is the Laocoon," which Pliny mentions. Of course, he says it much more emphatically. It was the lost Hellenistic marble masterpiece depicting Laocoon and his sons writhing in agony. And for Michelangelo, seeing this masterpiece pulled out of the earth was a life-altering lightning bolt. Fun facts. In March 1506, just 2 months after the statue was unearthed, Pope Julius II bought the Laocoon from the vineyard owner, Felice de Fredis. Instead of a standard one-time cash payment, Pope Julius II granted de Fredis the lifetime revenue from the toll customs collected at the Porta San Giovanni, one of the main gate entrances to Rome. It was a very lucrative deal. Tolls on goods entering Rome through a major gate provided a steady, substantial income stream for the rest of Fredis' life. It earned him eternal bragging rights. When Defredus died in 1529, his family put right on his tombstone in Santa Maria in Recoli, church in Rome. His epitaph explicitly boasts that he earned immortality for discovering the divine, well-nigh breathing effigy of Laocoon that still stands in the Vatican to this day. While often remembered simply as a farmer digging up a vineyard, Defredus was actually a respectable Roman landowner, and finding the statue on his land made him much more wealthy and a much more famous figure in Rome overnight. 2 years later, Pope Julius II coerces Michelangelo into painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo doesn't paint like a traditional painter. He paints like a sculptor, carving statues in fresco, and Laocoon is his masterclass. Look at the 20 Nudi, the iconic nude figures on the ceiling. Before seeing the Laocoon, Renaissance nudes were upright and balanced. The Laocoon taught Michelangelo the violent diagonal twist, the serpentinata, along with strained neck tendons and ribbed tension under agony. Look at the prophet Jonah, twisting backward above the altar, directly mirroring Laocoon's arched back. Look at the corner spandrel of the brazen serpent, where Israelites tangle with venomous snakes in poses that are almost direct quotes from the statue. Top it all off, there's a legendary mystery. When unearthed in 1506, the statue of Laocoon was missing its right arm. Most Renaissance artists claimed the arm must have been extended triumphantly into the air. Michelangelo disagreed. Studying the shoulder muscles, he insisted the arm had to be bent back sharply over the shoulder in a desperate struggle. Nobody believed him. Restorers added a straight arm. Until 1905, nearly 400 years later, when the original missing marble arm was discovered in a Roman builder's shop, it was bent backwards at the elbow, exactly as Michelangelo had predicted. From a fatal warning on the sands of Troy to the vaulted ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, Laocoon remains art history's greatest portrait of agony, fate, and human struggle. It is one of the world's most magnificent sculptures. Images do not do it justice. Be sure to see it while you're in Rome. Don't skip on the Belvedere torso, but we'll save that for another episode. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this journey through myth and art, leave me a review and hit subscribe. If you need help planning your trip to Italy, to see all the great things I talk about on my podcast, visit me at armchairitaly.com. Until next time, alla prossima.